It's been a while. It's been a very long while. Sorry about that. Well, I'm not sorry. It was just busy. There's things I had to do. Things that I wanted to do as well. But hey, guess what? We have the puppy back home. So she's back home from my mother-in-law's place. Now she'll be going back over in 2 weeks. So again, we're splitting time between here and my mother-in-law's place, just so she gets used to, like, traveling, and she gets used to, visiting like different dogs and like stuff. But now that she's here for 2 weeks, oh yeah, she's gonna be a major staple of stream. Not every time. I want to get her used to sort of being bored as well. Just because, like, I wanted to get used to, like, not always having something. But yeah, the streams are gonna be early for these 2 weeks. I haven't updated any of the stream times, so it's gonna be like very touch and go. Just know that we're basically streaming every single day of these 2 weeks, and you'll see her on and off, and you probably won't see the model at all. But yeah, this morning was just a lot of like running around. She's surprisingly active for her size, but when she's done, she's done. She's been like this for the past, like, I want to say, like 20 minutes now. The moment that we stopped running and I went to shower, I came back. She was super excited, and just like within like 5 seconds, she was just like, "All right, thanks for coming back from the shower. I'm gonna go sleep now." And just like KO'd. But hey, it's good. It's good to have a puppy here. Now it's gonna be interesting. Okay, obviously with a puppy here, playing games is not gonna be as easy. But we're gonna mostly try. I think we're just gonna mostly try and see if like how it goes. The weird thing is that it's gonna be more breaks. Basically, there's gonna be a lot more breaks here and there, just to make sure that that her needs are taken care of. But she's a very low needs dog, which is like interesting. Like, trying to play with her is like hard because she's very, very sort of like lazy, if that makes sense. She plays for like a good like 5-10 minutes, and then she's like, okay, I've had my time to sleep. She's good at training though. Like, training her is very, very easy. She's learned a lot. It's why I can't say certain words. Like, there's a phrase that I use for her to stop biting, or like doing her like mouthing thing, because she's still learning. Like, puppies have to learn how strong their like teeth is. There's like a phrase, like there's basically a phrase for everything. I'm still trying to teach her to leave. Okay, that was close. I'm still trying to teach her to not hold something. There we go. To not hold something in her mouth. And I'm trying to teach her how to not, or how to not keep holding something in her mouth, and how to oh god, how do I describe it without activating the keywords? The hard part is, how do I describe it without activating the keywords? Uh-oh. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. So the main two is just the safety ones, like drop it and leave it. But once we do those, then she's good. Really, really good. I tried to take her outside, and she went outside for like a good 2 minutes, and she was like, it's too cold, so she came back inside. I think she's just too cold. And you know what it is? When puppies are new, their fur is like soft, and we're getting into the throes of fall, right? The nice early coming of fall. So it's a bit too cold for her, I think. That's why she doesn't want to go out. You can also tell that I'm like extremely tired. Again, I just forgot how much effort like a puppy is. They wake up so early. And like, she woke me up, or like I woke her up, and like she instantly peed on the bed. And I was like, no! And like last night, basically, I tried to get her to sleep in her own bed. That was probably the hardest thing ever, just because like she's so not like used to it. She's so not used to sleeping in her own bed yet. So this is like a good, like, slow sort of like get her used to it kind of thing, especially at nighttime. At nighttime, I want her to be used to sleeping alone. So just last night was a fail, and also it was her first night back, so I was like, all right, come here. But yeah, that was bad. So just puppy things. Anyways, today, and then this whole 2 weeks is going to be basically puppy cam week, okay? I'm going to be streaming a lot just because my friends have different times that they want to see a puppy as well, so they'll be coming on at various times. But there's also a bunch of games I want to like try out. There was also some of the things that happened as well. I had to reinstall all of Windows because I didn't realize that what I did was incorrect, and then I had to reinstall actually not Windows. So I found the problem. My whatchamacallit, a graphics driver was too high, so every OBS recording was this like choppy, blurry, framey mess. So instead I said, okay, well, I had to roll it back manually down. I always hate whenever that like happens. It reminds me of like this whole thing of like I don't know how to say it, but this entire thing of like know your consumer base, if that makes sense. I always find it funny whenever a NVIDIA driver breaks their two main consumer bases, right? Because like, let's face it, most people who play games probably can't afford like a major gaming setup, right? For the most part, you're buying sort of like very, very low level stuff that isn't bringing them much money, right? Interestingly, the correlation starts to go towards the enthusiast level stuff, and this is how they price things, right? Like a 4090, for instance, is priced for the enthusiast. Whether you do flight sims or you do like a real stick driving, it's called, I don't know, like what's it called again? It's called something. The name for the joystick it's really stupid. It's really stupid, and I remember my friend telling me, and I was laughing, I was dying. But yeah, or people who like, you know, do like super high quality gaming, or people who do streaming. Those four groups basically are like such a niche group that I'm surprised that they don't try to make sure that things don't like break. Because I would have thought like OBS compatibility is probably on top of mind, right? Though I imagine they may have been just a miss from the OBS team with how quickly those patches came out. Because again, NVIDIA has to release these drivers in time with the video game releases, because they have to fix the bugs that the games do. So as far as I can tell, that's probably why they release these. In other news as well, I actually wanted to try MapleStory because next week is a new major patch, and I haven't really played it in a while. So when that major patch drops, we're gonna start playing it. I have the character that I want to play, but there's another Nexon game that I found that was very funny to me. Okay, so we're gonna try it as well today. We're gonna try it, and we're gonna get back to playing our usual games. Okay, but it's been interesting to sort of see like how the game has evolved. Probably only streaming for a couple of days. I'll mostly be playing it offline as like an AFK kind of like, you know, fun farming game while things are like rendering or like something. And WoW Classic is actually getting a WoW Classic Plus now, the Season of Discovery. It's actually insane how good it is. I'm pretty sure that every competing game is probably boned, right? I don't think there's a single competing game that can beat was it World of Warcraft? Season of Discovery. It's actually kind of like nuts how good it is, and it's funny because I don't know if it's legal to say, but there are servers that you can find that have made these features a long time ago, a very long time ago, that have been doing these things way before Blizzard ever did. And the funny thing is that Blizzard basically copied the feature 1-to-1, which is good. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's bad, I'm saying it's good. But it's interesting that it took so long for them to do something that their user base wanted them to do. Just like, a lot like, WoW Classic. WoW Classic was a thing that people wanted them to do for a long time. And now that they've done it, they're starting to bring in a lot of money. A lot of money. It's actually fascinating to like see. It's one of those things that like seems strange to me from like a business perspective. You would think they would want to put more effort into that. But they also announced a new expansion for like WoW, which is interesting. Chris Metzen went on stage and was doing it. Which again, he's basically the guy who like ran a lot of their projects. If not all of them. I'm pretty sure he was the guy who ran. Let's see. Warcraft 3, Chris Metzen. Also, you'll see my hands every now and then. Flesh tubers! Oh my god, that's Flesh! Yeah, he was the creative director since Warcraft 3. That's insane. He didn't do the storyline stuff, but he was the guy who basically said, okay, well, this is how the game is going to play like. And like, if you've ever played Warcraft 3, you know how good of a game that is, right? Then he also went on to be the creative director of Overwatch, which, I mean, Overwatch 1 was fantastic initially, and then it went really downhill, and then they started to go even worse and worse and worse. You know, and then things got really bad. And then, you know, for World of Warcraft, he was there as well for like, I think writing though, I think. But I don't know if he did much game design, but I imagine he must have, because this very early, what was it? development footage of World of Warcraft. I mean, it basically spawned off of Warcraft 3, right? So like it's basically the same thing, just heavily modified to be like an online game. So it's fascinating to see him back. Fascinating to see the new expansion come back, because that game was basically dead for like a long time, right? It also, because that game already has like a major issue of like perception. I was watching somebody else play it, and they were like, "Never in my life did I think I would play World of Warcraft," and I was like, "That's an interesting thing to like hear still, right?" But then I remember all the memes about it, right? Remember all those old memes, or like South Park, where the guy shits in a bucket? Yeah, that's basically that. So it makes sense. It makes sense that people wouldn't ever want to think to like play it because of all that like you know baggage. But at the same time, it's like I'm glad that it's coming back, because all those people that because now I think a lot of the stigma is like gone. Well, most of it. There's still some, but a lot of the stigma is like gone now, so people can like really enjoy it for what it is. It sucks that it's like past the heyday, but because there's so much new ways to sort of play the game where everyone starts out fresh, I think everybody's gonna still get that same experience, even though it's optimized. Yeah. Again, you're never really gonna get back that feeling of like just walking in the Stranglethorn Vale, not really knowing what, like no one knows what's like going on, and you see like a person from the opposite faction, and you wave to them, and you start clapping, and then they start waving, and then you guys start like following around each other. Then you get contested on the same thing, and you're like, all right, dude, it's time for you to go, man. I don't know if you should be here. Then you start to fight each other over and over. Then all of a sudden someone dies, and all of a sudden it's an entire all-out faction war, all inside of a single map that you're forced to go to for the best leveling experience. We'll probably never get that ever again. But hey, because like now like people know like, okay, it's mostly useless. It's just there because like you guys can't play along, right? Like nobody can like play friendly. But now everyone realizes it. It's a bit funny too, in the sense of like they've done studies on like player behavior through World of Warcraft, like the whole Blood Plague thing. I'm pretty sure they've done a study on like what happens if you give every person a gun, a loaded gun left on an island alone, and then you put one coconut in the middle, then one fish. How many people will leave the island? Let's find out. And that's basically what happens, right? People just like die constantly. So sadly, we won't see the survival island stuff anymore. But hey, you know what? At least it's going somewhere. The new content looks like good. They're at least trying to make the game, better. They're at least trying to add more things to the game, and at least the game isn't like fully dead. I was also watching a lot of oh my god, League of Legends Worlds. The best Western team got absolutely slapped by like the lowest tier, high ranking sort of like whatchamacallit, Eastern team. No, not full Eastern, because Eastern would include Korea, but it was an LEC team, which I think is China's league. It was actually insane. I'm surprised that it even got as far as it did, but like they lost hard, like super hard. It was like a 3-0 sweep. It was so bad to see. Everybody was like, oh my god. Of course, a lot of people had this expectation that they would probably win, but like there's no way that they win. Absolutely no way that they win. The problem is that when I saw them play and the things that I saw them like do, I was like, dude, like I feel like somebody else would probably know not to do these things, right? Not to make these mistakes, even in like a casual game. So seeing that live from like a live tournament from the best Western team that somehow broke in through, like EU's best, basically. Like even though like there's a whole format change, it was just like, oh man, because I stayed up late for it too. It was like 5 a.m., 6 a.m. my time, and I'm like bleary-eyed. I'm like, ugh. And I thought it was gonna start sooner, so I stayed up the entire night instead. So yeah, so now my sleep schedule's being all reset. Feels weird being back in the morning, but we're not gonna do just chatting the entire time. Again, we do play games here, and this is gonna be a weird one. There's two weird ones, but this is weird. This is weird. Now I'm gonna get into why it's weird soon. As soon as I started. Just give me 1 second to switch the scene.